Goose, 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 goose. Goose, 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 goose.
This is my second pick for you. John Carpenter, 1994, In the Mouth of Madness, an American supernatural horror film directed and scored by Carpenter, written by Michael DeLuca. Written by DeLuca when he was 22 years old, prior to him becoming the CEO of New Line, and then and then losing his job because he got a out in public blowjob at a Hollywood Oscar watching party.
Oh wow!
Shout out to the Blank Check episode they did on this during their John Carpenter miniseries. Backstory, if you don't know anything about kind of like what led up to this movie, there's a lot of really interesting shit here.
That's a fun one.
Stars Sam Neill, Julie Carmen, Jürgen Prochnow, again David Warner, I believe as
Yep. That's why I mentioned when we talked about this in the pre-commentary.
And also pre-Alzheimer's Charlton Heston in like 2 or 3 scenes.
He's in so much stuff.
It pays tribute to the works of author H.P. Lovecraft in its exploration of insanity. Its title is derived from the Lovecraft novella At the Mountains of Madness. I believe I kind of sold this to you as Carpenter considers this as the second of what he calls his Apocalypse trilogy. Okay. The first one being Alien. Apocalypse is brought on by extraterrestrial invasion. The second one being In the Mouth of Madness. The Apocalypse brought on by extra dimensional Cthulhu monsters. The third in the trilogy being Prince of Darkness, where the apocalypse is brought on by the devil himself. I describe this to you as not only very, very fun, but an extremely underrated and underwatched John Carpenter film that flopped at the time, didn't do critically sort of great at the time, but was a little bit kind of past what even people consider the window of sort of like kind of prime Carpenter filmography. But when I saw it last year, I loved it front to back. In the Mouth of Madness, what did you think?
I really liked it a lot. So something that most people don't know about me, a film that it's kind of like, it's not a great film. This is not a great film, but it's a film that I really love. Is a movie called The Seventh Gate.
Sure.
It's Johnny Depp is in it again.
One of Roman Polanski's last features.
Yep.
Naveen and I actually saw it in the theaters in college together. I came down randomly.
Okay.
Our co-host and dear friend doesn't actually drink at all. So I had visited UConn for a night, and he wasn't really in the mood for kind of going out to bars or anything else. So I thought, let's catch like a rando horror movie that's in town, and we ended up seeing Seventh Gate opening weekend.
Yeah, it's just one of those ones that I put on probably once a year, and I just enjoy the shit out of it. It's just a movie with mystery. It has a lot to do with books and hunting down like elusive books, which is always something that I don't know. It's just fun and interesting to me. Right. I immediately, when they brought up, there's a horror writer. His name's Sutter Kane. They're trying to Sam Neill's character is, I guess, hired to try to locate him.
Neill is kind of an insurance adjuster in this.
Insurance adjuster, sure.
But immediately in this film, one of the great meta bits they throw out is Sutter Kane. They're like, oh, he's so good, such a popular horror writer, bigger than Stephen King even.
Yeah. But it's all about this whole journey of like, where is Sutter Kane and where's this last book that he wrote that nobody can find, but it exists. And then that's where it starts. And there's also weird shit kind of going on around like these characters, which gives me vibes of like Invasion of the Body Snatchers or something, where people around you
70s kind of paranoia sort of thrillers, things that happen.
Yeah, you notice how things around you assume are normal, but people around you, things are slightly changing, and there's this unsettling feeling, but you're not sure what it is. And then it comes up, there's this guy, Sutter Kane, who's a horror writer, that when you read his books, people have these weird visions, and it kind of
so crazy and so scary that itself is to actually go mad.
Yeah. And so right there from the beginning, I was hooked. I'm like, I mean, it also starts where Sam Neill is getting pulled into like a psych ward or something like that. He's all like,
I mean, it sort of cuts to like this crazy shit happening kind of on the outskirts of the psych ward. Does David Warner play the psychologist who interviews him? Do I remember that correctly?
He does. Yeah.
But it sort of cuts in, and it's kind of in media res. Sam Neill, his entire kind of prison cell in his own face, or just kind of covered with crosses. He's
given a black crayon to keep his sanity.
He's been through something completely crazy, and like the framing of like the movie is it's kind of Sam Neill is telling David Warner just basically the story leading up to like how we actually ended up in the institution.
Fine, yeah. How they located Sutter Kane and all that kind of stuff. It's just it's so awesome. There's just like, I don't know how to describe it, but even when like Sam Neill's in the cell and then he's just like trying to figure out like you don't know what he's experienced, but at the same time you hear a whisper of somebody saying like, the book's not done yet. You haven't finished reading the book yet. And I'm like, what is that about? Like, what does that mean? They keep dropping all these little like Easter egg things that you're like, what is this? Should I know about this? Is it going to be explained to me? Is it not? And then the story keeps progressing.
The insanity and the unreliable narrator being real kind of touchstones of like a lot of these kind of Cthulhu, like Lovecraft style.
That's what it was. I'm like, is it something that exists? Something that you can't see that's feeding him, that's like taunting him, or is it in his own head? It's just such an awesome film, and just where it goes from the beginning. Like I think it was Sutter Kane's agent attacks, like when Sam Neill starts telling about what happened and how he went on this journey to find Sutter Kane. He talks about how Sutter Kane, I guess his agent attacks him at like a diner or something like that with
a giant scary dude basically crashes through a diner window with an axe. To come after Neil. Like the overall sort of premise itself is Julie Carmen is another literary agent who represents
Styles,
Sutter Kane's publisher. And they're they're trying to file a claim because like Sutter Kane himself has actually, right before the publication, like this massive book has actually disappeared. Neil plays this very, very cocky, very kind of just kind of full of himself and extremely confident insurance adjuster who's like his whole career is like detecting and sort of kind of seeing through bullshit. And he's convinced from the start this whole thing with Sutter Kane disappearing is like, this is a publicity stunt.
Yeah, exactly.
Publishing company rather than something that's actually happened at all.
Yeah. So I like how then he's sent to find Sutter Kane because he's calling bullshit. He's going with Styles.
Right.
And they
sometimes coming through the old books, he comes up with a theory about like the town Kane writes about in his books is actually a representation of like a real town.
He took all the covers of the book.
In rural New Hampshire, right?
Yeah. He bought a bunch of books for like reading to, kind of understand what people are experiencing. He's also experiencing weird dreams after starting to read some of them. But then at one point, he's just like, Sutter Kane, where are you? He starts looking at the covers of the novels. He's like, oh my God, I figured it out. He rips all the covers off and then he pieces it together. And it's like a map. It's showing like a town that doesn't exist, essentially.
Right.
So he goes with Styles.
Again, a bit of a Stephen King reference because I think it's kind of the towns of kind of Derry and Derry and Castle Rock actually represent I think Auburn and Lewiston, maybe actually within Maine itself.
Yep. But when they actually go on that road trip, and then it gets late at night and they're driving, they pass this kid on a bicycle. They keep passing the same kid for some reason. And then he's an old man. Yeah. And then you're like, what's going on? And it's clearly the same kid with the same bike. And then, you think they're going mad. And then Sam Neill they cross over like some kind of bridge.
It's like a covered bridge over a river.
Yeah. And then
that kind of puts them in the town itself.
All of a sudden it's daytime. it's morning. And then Styles wakes up. She's like, oh my God, man, maybe it must have been tough for you driving all night. Maybe I'll drive next time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But that town is where and here's the thing. I did not know they ever gave this actor a second job besides being in Ghostbusters 2. But the guy that plays Vigo the Carpathian.
Yeah.
He just shows up at one point. Like they're trying to find out where Sutter Kane is. They're asking people questions. They get brought to this church. And when they're going to the church, there's some like people, guards with Dobermans or something like that. Right. And then these people approaching saying, hey, let us in. And
there's a whole subplot of all the children in town have disappeared. And it's just, but what it does the Cthulhu sort of thing where you never get answers at any point.
No.
You never get complete clarity on what's going on. Like kind of freaky stuff happens. The investigator, the hero of the story, pushes against it. But instead of kind of just getting any answers or clarifications, just things get kind of weirder, creepier, and kind of just accelerates, or like more and more and more.
And also, Happy Gilmore's grandma, he ran like the local motel or whatever it was, the local inn. Right. And I'm like, oh my God, Happy's grandma back in her heyday.
Right. Back in her heyday when she had her husband literally shackled to her leg.
Yeah.
So this thing, shit gets crazier and crazier. Styles disappears at one point. Sam Neill finally escapes from the town. Unclear kind of what happens to the girl. He sort of gets back. Everybody kind of tells him, all this stuff you actually kind of made up in your head. What you thought was like the real thing, it became like a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah,
things got more and more insane. And then when it kind of at the end of the film cuts back to the interview with David Warner and Sam Neill, it's pretty strongly implied at this point that demons have fully come to Earth and are actually attacking the asylum. Like at this point. Yeah. But like the movie ends with Sam Neill getting loose and kind of wandering through town. David Warner's disappeared. Everybody else at the asylum has disappeared. He just walks out. Yeah. He's kind of going around, and sorry, like previous to that, the end of it is revealed. Sam Neill is talking to the publisher, and they're like, "Yeah, the book's already been published. Massive success. We're going to make a movie of it soon." But then the film actually ends with Neill finding an abandoned movie theater, him going into the movie theater, him sitting down, and the start of the actual In the Mouth of Madness movie starts playing, and he just starts fucking cracking up.
Yeah. Well, it's great because when he's in that little town where Sutter Kane is, people keep saying to him, like, it's like he's in a book. So they keep saying, like, this is what's supposed to happen. Don't worry. This is how he wrote it. Like, it's supposed to happen this way. And then the encounter with Sutter Kane, which I got
Jürgen Prochnow.
Yeah, I got definite Voldemort vibes from this guy. Sure. I'm like, okay, look at this guy. He's a badass. He's like a wizard. He has all these powers with writing and stuff like that. And he's like, they made me write this. He's like, I wanted to create something.
I'm not remotely the final boss. I'm like the boss for. And he's like, Dr. Willie's right shows up
to bring them to life. This is what I had to do. And there's all about this door in the church or whatever that has demons behind it, that these monstrosities, and it's so Lovecraftian, these monstrosities, and they show glimpses of them. They actually show you what they look like towards the end, but I kept thinking of they're like these like mutant fish creatures or something like that.
Supposedly, and this is purely kind of going from the Blank Check podcast, but you can actually see like the way that they did that effect is they actually made a full clockwork thing where the like that doorway, all the monsters are kind of real, and there's a giant crank on the other side of the door that you turn really slowly, and that actually animates like all like the different sort of monsters and demons kind of like flying back.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I was thinking of that short story he did, the one with all like the mutant creatures. I think it's called like Shadow over Innsmouth.
Sure.
And so when I thought that, I was like, oh, they've been inspired, but it definitely rings like Lovecraft all over it. It definitely, maybe it's a love letter to it or something adjacent.
Well, people weren't overdoing the Lovecraft thing at this point. We talked about this previously in the Reanimator conversation. Like the big the big reason everybody's into Lovecrafting these days is basically all of his work has slid into the public domain, so it's a recognizable thing that kind of people can use for free. Yeah.
Yeah.
How did this movie
was
for
a
you?
great-
Yeah. How did this for you kind of compare to the other John Carpenter movies that you know and love?
Very beginning, Sam Neill. Neil's one of the guards in the nuts, and he goes, "Hey, I'm sorry about the balls." And I'm like, "Oh,
Lucky shot."
that's a Carpenter. That's a Carpenter one-liner, like cheating bitch in the thing. Cheating bitch. Sorry about the balls.
Like a full glass of like J&B Scotch like into the computer.
Yeah, it happens right at the beginning in both films, and I'm like, okay, this is going to be very, very Carpenter, and I think it's true to form. It's a very Carpenter film. It has all the elements you'd expect from like The Thing or like They Live, stuff like that. It's. I was very pleased with how it was because the fact that I haven't seen up to this point, I'm like, it's probably a dud. It's probably something he swung at. It was like a little later in his career, maybe.
I think
and
a flop at the time made $9 million on an $8 million budget. I think that it was due for a Halloween release. New Line bumped it to February of the year it was released because they didn't want to crowd their other major October horror release, which was Nightmare on Elm Street: The New Nightmare.
Yeah.
They didn't want kind of competition for like the latest Freddy film that was in place. So,
but I don't know if you're aware, they just released it on 4K.
Okay.
And they had a big enough cult following that they did it, and they have like a lot of extras and stuff like that.
It's the kind of thing where like everybody's really, even like a lot of the mediocre Carpenter at this point is kind of being like kind of reclaimed and rediscovered.
Yeah, and it's weird. I started watching a Carpenter film last night, and it was like 3 short films about what was it? It's called Body Bags.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And it guest stars a bunch of
he was kind
famous
of trying to do at one point, I think.
art directors and people that you know from like the 90s show up. It was pretty lackluster. And I think that was like 93 or something. It was 90s as well. But this one it was really good. And I would definitely watch it again because you look for all those things. They give you little hints of stuff throughout. And so I feel like you can't just kind of watch it through one sitting. It's meant to be watched like a couple times.
Well, sure. But even like these later kind of sci-fi films, like kind of Ghost to Mars, they were talking about on a podcast I was listening to the other day. Like, in the host, like, Ghost to Mars. Consider this: the lead character, Ice Cube, plays a Martian space criminal named Desolation Williams. Like, what else do you want out of cinema? So let's wind it down there. In the Mouth of Madness for me is a 45, just because it's really, really great. The fact it's not Big Trouble, the fact it's not They Live or The Thing is really the only like metric I can kind of hold against it.
Yeah.
But score of 0 to 50, what was it for you?
I put it as 43.
At 43. Okay. I think that will make it our current top scorer of the evening. So to kind of recap what we've covered so far, at first place, Mouth of Madness. Second place, Waxwork. Third place, Quiet Place, Day One. Fourth place, Best Wishes to All, but only by a very narrow margin. It's 72 to 70. Then Bone Lake, Bone Dry, way in the back at
less than 20. No, 22.
22 at a solid 22.
Oof.
Yeah. All right. So, what do we have coming up? At some point soon, we need to do our mutual watch of The Blackening.
Yep.
This is a this is a comedy horror about a group of friends who on Juneteenth go on a vacation together, and they find a racist board game in the basement of the cabin they're staying in, and then a serial killer like shows up. Very excited for that.
It sounds really good.
Yeah. And then and that will cover like our first half of a Halloween coverage. From there, we are going to do for mutual watches Videodrome by Cronenberg, and what you could describe as a very well kind of regarded Shutter classic called Oddity. This is an Irish film from 2024. You are going to be covering 28 years later, the reunion of Danny Boyle and why am I blanking like the writer's name? The third in like the 28 series, Alex Garland. That's what I'm thinking
Oh, okay.
And you'll also be watching like the film I shouted up kind of briefly, Until Dawn. I will be Unseen by Me. Your recommendations, The Black Phone, a movie that has a sequel in theaters, I think, literally this weekend. And for our second live watch, we're going to be watching a kind of a sort of a sleazy grindhouse classic from the mid-'80s, Return of the Living Dead.
You're gonna love it. It's good.
I'm very excited for that.
I saw the trailer, by the way, when I went to see Bone Lake of 20 years later, the Bone Temple.
Oh yeah, so that's an interesting thing. They filmed a sequel in conjunction. Boyle did the first half. A director named Nia DaCosta did the second half. But it is it's 28 years ends on a very unusual cliffhanger that goes immediately into like the Bone Temple. So that's part of something we can kind of.
It looks so good. I was so pulled in with this thing. I'm just like, if I have to see something like for horror by the end of this year, I mean, Black Phone 2 looks great, but this looked like intense.
Here's the funniest fucking thing, and I'll just kind of say this like in closing. It's weird to me. There's been so much great horror this year. None of it has come out in October. None of it has come out in October. Yeah.
Actually, shit. I mean, Black Phone 2's come out in October. Boner Lake came out.
I should just fucking go to that probably tonight. I don't know.
20 years later, sorry, Bone Temple comes out next year.
Oh, next year? Serious?
Yeah.
Like January or something, right?
Yeah. It's coming up soon.
Still. All right. Closing thoughts?
This was a great selection of films.
It was.
It was a lot of different stuff. So I think
we're kind of shooting for
random. Yeah, I mean, we picked it random, but I think it was just like the perfect selection of films because each one offers something different. So we're kind of judging them on different grounds. But I also don't want to be where like everything's good or everything's like mediocre.
The thing about being a horror film, too, I think sort of the agony and the ecstasy of it is you have to be willing to sit through some bullshit from time to time.
Yeah.
I mean, just disproportionately compared to I think like a lot of other genres. But I think when you have to sit through something like Bone Lake, 2 days later, I watch Waxwork and just what a like palate cleanse like that thing was.
Very cool.
Very cool. All right, appreciate the time, my friends. Episode 12, Cunning of the Goose. Cunningween, what you referred to as Cunttober, I think, on the last episode.
Can I get a what?
Desolation Williams just walks in. He's like, no.
Yeah.